Hello everyone, I'm Erica.
And I'm Akilah.
Welcome to HeartsChat.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of HeartsChat. So tonight we're talking about parenting in terms of anger. How to control and manage a child's anger.
Yes, and we kind of got this, inspiration from an NPR article that was talking about how Inuit parents really don't show any anger to their children, and the children learn through that way. Whereas in the Western culture, it's a little bit different.
Right.
So I think that I thought that it was a great the article was written from a perspective of a person who was adopted by the Inuit culture. And how she was younger, but how she was kind of impulsive and wild. Those are the words that she was using compared to the other children because they were growing up in that culture for so long.
Right.
And she just saw how they there was no scolding, no timeouts, and particularly in the Inuit culture, it was more about it was seen as childlike and demeaning to kind of react in that way. So we thought that was really interesting and try to kind of talk about it.
Definitely. It sort of reminds me of when I was younger, around 6th grade. I remember people started to say bad words and cuss, and that was cool to do.
Yep.
And
it's like a rite of passage.
Yeah, and I always felt because my house, shut up and stupid were, you don't say that. Those were considered bad words. We would say, so-and-so said the stoop word or the shut word. We wouldn't say it. And I always thought, because to this day, I don't really use profanity.
No, me neither.
And I always thought it's kind of you really can't think of a better word to say. It kind of makes me, to me, I always thought of it as okay, kind of beneath. You really can't think of a more intelligent word to say that you have to say that.
When you're getting angry.
Yeah, and some people, they get angry and it slips out. But that's how I always thought about it. I think that's why I don't, because at a young age, I don't know where I got that from. That's just what I thought about it. So it made me think about that. And another thing, when they were talking about how they will practice with the kids about how to manage their anger.
Yes.
And then the parent will kind of mimic what they did to show doesn't that look silly? Let's practice, let's think about another way. It really reminds me of therapy.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Some therapy techniques that you might use in play therapy or working with families with children and kids.
No,
So
absolutely.
I thought that was really interesting that in our culture we use that as therapy techniques to teach, and they just use that in every day.
Every day. And I think that's a really important part because it's oftentimes I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see kind of people teaching emotions and how to positively kind of react. We often will say don't get mad, which is kind of impossible, or don't stop yelling. It's always kind of in those types of words rather than okay, let me show you how to do this.
Right, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Exactly.
I think it definitely has to be a teachable moment.
Absolutely.
When you're disciplining.
And I feel a really common saying for us with any kind of emotion is kind of do as I say, not as I do, which is kind of kids developmentally they model us as they're growing up, they're going to do what you do. Right. So you can't really use that kind of term, but I feel that's such a common thing that sometimes parents will say, and it's kind of you really can't say that.
I know a lot of parents will say they don't want to yell at their kids, or they're tired of yelling at their kids.
Absolutely.
But sometimes they yell because it gets a quicker response.
Yes.
You yell and they're
oh, yeah.
And they stop what they're doing and they do it, but then they're going to do it again. A lot of kids, they don't care about getting yelled at.
Absolutely.
That's not what's going to do it. I remember for my youngest sister, she had Mr. Stick, and she wouldn't care. We talked about this a lot. But she had Mr. Stick. It was a little paint stick because me and my sister Ashley, we didn't have Mr. Stick. Really, the sternness was enough for us.
Yeah.
But hey, my youngest sister had this little stick, and I only remember her getting a tap on the hand with it one time. I remember. And it stands out so much to me because she got a tap on the hand. It was toot, toot. And my mom walked away and she starts laughing. And she was like, that didn't hurt. It didn't do anything.
Absolutely.
But sitting down and talking about, hey, this is what you should do instead. Or, hey, what's going on? This isn't you.
With that, I think the most important part is the adult modeling the same behavior, because we can have these conversations with kids, but if you're you don't want your kids to curse and you come and like talk about it and you're cursing, I'm gonna be like, well,
where they get that from?
in the most gentlest way possible. But I mean, like, we have to, you know, model for kids as well. We can't just talk. You have to be what you're saying, or it just doesn't work.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's definitely like both of that, education and modeling. I feel like it's such a big, important part when teaching kids about anything, but really when teaching kids how to control their emotions.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you do yell and do those like short term, I guess, tactics, it might work for that moment, but in the long run, you're going to have a bigger problem versus if you would sit down and talk and have a conversation and make it a teachable moment, you know, for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you said before, Eric, was such a great point. Like, you know, like, especially using your sister as an example, I'm just kind of laughing at, like, especially as kids get older, they're just going to get, oh, mom's dad's yelling again. I just hear it. I know I did that. Like, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to listen to this and just go back and do whatever I'm doing. Because I just know that's all. And the other part of it is, it's like, I feel like when parents will yell and then set consequences and then don't follow through, then that just also is a little bit of a situation that brings up a little bit of trouble. But there are kids, like you said, that don't respond to yelling or anything like that and just continue to do what they do.
Right. A lot of kids, and you know, as they get older, will say, you know, the disappointment factor was worse.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's kind of what, if you go back to what we were talking about with that article that we read, it was like, you're angry or you're behaving this way. Isn't that silly?
Yes.
You know, does that make sense? Kind of making you question, like, And it helps you to make better decisions, you know, so you can be a good citizen in society.
Absolutely.
You know, because you think about so many things, so many bad things that happen because you're angry.
Absolutely.
You know? So
absolutely.
you can manage your anger. That's a huge thing. And I know in therapy, I know people say, I have an anger problem, or I've got anger, or I need anger management. I always like to separate anger from the person. Like, that's not you. And, you know, when you get to know people and you're like, I see this is good about you and that's good about you, because people are really, especially kids, will take that on.
Yes.
That I'm angry, I'm bad, this is
Absolutely.
who I am, this is me, and then they'll keep doing that because that's who they are.
Yeah, because they're thinking at that age is so, like, concrete. Like, I get angry, that means I'm bad. Like, that's it. Like, that's all the thinking for most younger kids. That's all it is. So then you're absolutely right. It becomes their identity, and it's just kind of like, all right, I'm bad. I can't do any good. I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yep.
And that's how I'm getting my attention.
Right. Exactly. I like to say, you have, you know, this is you. Well, the anger, like, kind of, when the anger creeps in, like, you, it's not part of you. It's like this other thing. So when the anger starts to creep in, especially with kids, okay, well, what happens? How do we keep that anger, you know, down here or over there? Or, you know, learning how to manage it so it's not you. It makes me so sad.
I'm laughing because, like, I just saw this video called Belly Breathing that Sesame Street put out. And basically it's talking about anger and, like, how to control your anger for kids. So you have Elmo in there, and it's Common and Kobe Calais. And they start singing all these lyrics, and all of a sudden Elmo starts turning into a monster Elmo, and it's like the monster is his anger. It's not really him. Like, he transforms into this.
It's not him.
It's not him. And then it's like, kind of, how do we calm down that monster inside? And then once he starts belly breathing, which is a coping skill, like, he goes back to normal. Like, he's back to Elmo.
Yes.
And I just thought that was just so cute.
I love that. I love that. Because we talk about positive affirmations and what you're telling yourself and what you believe. It's so much easier and faster to believe something bad about yourself.
Absolutely.
Than it is good things. So rather than later try to build somebody up, like, make sure kids know.
You're starting
that
early.
At a young age. Yeah,
absolutely.
Definitely helps with their confidence and their self-esteem.
Yes.
So, okay, well, if you have any questions or comments about this, or you want to join the conversation, just leave everything below.
Bye.
We'll catch you next time.
Thank you so much for listening to HeartsChat today, where we speak from the heart. We hope that you enjoyed our show. Catch us every Sunday and Tuesday on our YouTube channel and our website, which is HeartsChatRadioshow.com. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages at HeartsChat Radio on Instagram and at HeartsChat on Twitter and Facebook.
We love to hear from you. If you have any questions or topics that you want us to talk about, email us at HeartsChat@HeartsChatRadioshow.com. And for all of your personal relationship questions, visit our website, HeartsChatRadioshow.com, and click the From Erica's Heart tab. Your question will be answered within 24 hours. Thank you for listening to Hearts Chat, where we speak from the heart.